So today I am in Mobile, Alabama, first time in Alabama, and guess who is here with me?
Hi, hello. I'm Jessica Fairley. I am the manager of the Africatown Heritage House. Today we had a special event commemorating the marker for the Lewis Quarters area, which is the area where the descendants of the Clotilda, which is the last known U.S. slave ship to come into the United States. The land marker is for the land that they purchased, and today we were honoring that family. Here at the Africatown Heritage House, we tell the story of the Clotilda, and not just that, but also the survivors of the Clotilda, their family stories as well, what happened to them, and also they come by daily. So if you want to learn Black history, American history, world history, and you're in the Mobile area or you're traveling through the South, please consider visiting the Africatown Heritage House, because I want you to subscribe to our stories told by us so that you can learn even more about us.
Exactly. The name of the channel is Our Story by Us. No spacing, just one word, Our Story by Us. And if you want, you can start with the @ sign, and you will find me, and where you will hear more about our stories by us, ourselves, African stories. And I believe this is an African story, isn't it?
This is an African story. So this is actually one of the only communities founded by Africans in the United States of America.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I'm here. Like, it's very special. You can't go anywhere else in America and see so much of Africa. And I've been telling the people that I've had the chance to talk with today that it's so beautiful to come here and see people in African clothes. And I see people with shirts with the big African map.
Well, we pride ourselves in wanting to connect with the motherland. The survivors of the Clotilda, their direct descendants are still here in this community, and so they do so by honoring their ancestors and dressing in garb, African garb and things for various events that they have. And being that they had an event today, it just only made sense to dress up to honor their ancestors.
Okay, and what do you tell Americans, Black Americans, that want to delineate themselves from Africa? Like, they don't want to feel a part of Africa, and they're like, don't tell me about Africa, I'm not an African, I am an American. I've been here since even before the American Indians, and some even call themselves American Indians. Do you know that?
Yes, I do. Those things I can't speak to. The only thing that I can speak of are the survivors of the Clotilda. And the survivors of the Clotilda were of African descent. And Africatown was founded by the survivors of the Clotilda. And many of the darker complexion people in America are of African descent. Now, whether someone wants to identify with that part of their heritage or not, I can't tell them what they, accept themselves to be. But I know for a fact that the Clotilda survivors were from the continent of Africa and the present Nigeria and Benin area that is today. As a matter of fact, we have some of them here in the building today, and they wouldn't deny their heritage and their lineage at all.
Yeah, now I talked to a few descendants, and I was moved. I can tell you, as an African, to hear people embracing their ancestry and their heritage, it really uplifts me. And this is what I really want to continue to do, so we bridge the gap between Africans and African Americans.
And I think that's something that, those of us who embrace the African American background and accept that, we want to build that bridge. Last year, Dr. Kern Jackson, who's a professor at the University of South Alabama, he actually took a group of students to Ghana, and they were able to have conversation with students who were being educated in the Ghana area and from that African background. So they had conversations and kind of gained an understanding of how each other think and what we feel about each other, being from the African diaspora, but being from various regions.
Right. Thank you so much for speaking with me, and it was a pleasure to meet you. And I hope people, especially our people, will come here and visit and see the true history, which is still, I see. I look at that book right there, Kossula. That's so African.
Well, that
Kojo.
Kossula here, this is Kossula.
Let me show.
Kossula is he was living of the survivors of the Clotilda.
Right.
So he lived until 1935. There are tons of records and accounts of Kossula's life. Zora Neale Hurston wrote the book on his life, Barracoon. So of course we tell the story of Kossula here, but not only Kossula, but the others who were aboard the Clotilda ship, the last known slave ship to come into the United States.
And Kojo is so African. That's Ghana. That's from Ghana.
Cujo is how we say it here. And
Okay.
you can see Cujo there.
Cujo.
But
Okay.
yeah, that is the name that he told his enslaver to call him. He said, since you can't say my name, Kossula, you call me Cujo. And over time, that name became a beloved name here in Africatown. Miss Carla over there, her family called him Uncle Cujo. Everyone from Africatown called him Uncle Cujo.
Okay. I see nice art here on the wall.
Yeah, so they were done by local artists, and we're part of the History Museum of Mobile, so those pieces have been in the museum for quite some time. And when we opened in 2023, these pieces were already in the museum's collection. So we just gave them a home here in the Africatown Heritage House.
Yeah, this is beautiful. And this is gonna last for generations to come.
Yeah, we want all of the descendants of the Clotilda to experience this.